Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're going to cover how to create consistent AI characters that are photorealistic and also that look like everyday people. Now, if you have seen consistent characters being talked about or being generated, most of the times you would have come across characters that are either A, very stylized, or B, very, very perfect looking, or sometimes both. We're trying to break away from that. We're trying to create characters that look more like normal everyday people with imperfect body types, imperfect faces, and also create images that are completely photorealistic, that look like they have been clicked by a mobile phone camera. Now, why this is important or why this makes sense, because if you are planning to create any sort of content with AI that goes beyond perfectly lit commercial shots, you would need imperfections that you get in real life traditional photographs and videos. We're not going to cover videos in this particular video, but today we're going to be focusing only on creating consistent character images. Now, we're going to follow a few steps. First, we're going to look at creating a face for our character. We're going to do that completely synthetically. And then once we're done with the face, we're going to create a library of images with a certain body type, which will be imperfect. And then once we have these set of images with a specific body type, we're going to go ahead and we're going to train a model so that we can start creating consistent character images with that face and body type. So let's get started. To begin with, we're going to go to Flux Playground. This is where we're going to create the first step, which is the face of our character. Now, when it comes to consistent characters, there's a lot of workflows for recreating or reusing your face or a known person's or an existing character's face. What we're doing here is creating a fresh face for our character. Now, when we're in the Flux Playground, what we're going to do is we're going to put this prompt. Now, this is a very simple prompt that I have put together, which creates a medium shot or close-up shots of Indian characters. Now, you can, of course, copy it as is, or you could write your own prompt as well, play around with it. In the settings, we're just going to make sure that it is 1:1, and we're going to create a batch of 4 images. We're going to leave the prompt upsampling on, and let's just go ahead. Now, there you go. Those are the faces that have been created. I mean, most of them look a little bit similar, but we could essentially keep doing this until we stumble upon a face that we like. For the purpose of this video, we're just going to use this face, third one over here, and we're going to go ahead with it. Now, one thing that you might notice that the face that we just created, it is also very perfect. And at the beginning of the video, we mentioned that we're not looking for perfection, we're looking for everyday people. So think of this face as the perfect version of the final face that we're going to use for our final generations. This is merely the template. We're not going to use this particular face as the face of our final character. Now, the next step is for us to generate a library of realistic body shots, and let's go ahead and do that. Now, here we've got another prompt on Flux Playground. Now, if you see, this prompt has been properly structured. So we've got the subject and body type over here, appearance and style, environment and lighting, camera and lens specifications, depth of field, final rendering. And you could do something more detailed, but this usually works quite well. Now, again, what we're going to do is, since we're creating full body shots, we're going to set the aspect ratio to 9:21, and we're going to keep the batch size to 4. Prompt upscaling is there. Let's just go ahead and start creating. All right, there we go. Now, if you see, I have kind of mentioned a few elements over here, which makes the body more realistic into an everyday person. Now, this is to primarily achieve results that are more realistic. Usually when you see AI characters, they're usually very perfect when it comes to their body types or faces or everything. So what we're trying to create is a small library which we will train the final model with, so that the final images are also quite realistic, both from a photo quality perspective, but also from an overall model body type perspective. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep changing the appearance and styling and the environment and lighting a little bit and create about 20 images. Let's go ahead and do that. And once we're done, then we're going to move forward with creating the initial batch of 20 plus consistent character shots, which will go into our training. Now, once we've generated all the full body images, we now have a library of about 20 plus images with almost similar body types. Now, one thing to note here is the faces of these generations, they're not matching with the initial face that we created. So now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to swap out the faces in these images with the one that we created at the very beginning. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, for face swapping, I like to use Pixlr AI Face Swap. It's a simple tool, it's not that costly, and it gets the job done, so I've never really explored a lot of other options. Sometimes if something works out for you, you just stick with it, but I'd love to know if there are any free options. Please leave a comment if you know any. Now, all you have to do here is essentially select the face, then select the target image, and just hit run. Once it is done, you can simply download the face swapped image. So we're going to go ahead and do that for all the 25 images that we generated. And then we're going to move to training our model. Now for model training, we're going to head over to Higgsfield AI. Once you're here, you just have to go to Soul ID character and then click on create new character. Once you do that, you're going to be prompted to upload the 20 plus characters that you have just created. So we're just going to go ahead and upload those images. And once that's done, it's going to show you the quality of the images and if the quantity is good. Overall, it allows you to upload up to 70 images, but I've tried it out with just about 20 and it works pretty good. So we're just going to do that, but feel free to upload more images if you want the highest degree of control. So once we upload, it's going to start training the model. It usually takes about 5 minutes to do that. So we're going to check back in once the training is complete, and then we're going to start using this character and a few styles that Higgsfield AI provides to ultimately create hyper-realistic outputs. Now, once your character is created, you would have the option to generate images using that character. Now, I've already created a few images, but let's go ahead and see how we can create more. Now, make sure that you're in the Soul model, and also make sure you select the correct aspect ratio that you want the final image to be. You can choose whether or not to keep the prompt upscaling on. I usually don't keep it on. And also, it's better to generate in high quality. Writing a prompt of this woman wearing a red t-shirt, blue jeans, red sneakers, and a black jacket, and walking down the stairs of an Indian subway system. We're also specifying that the lighting is dim and it's tube lights, so you can really go as specific as you want. In fact, the more specific you are, it helps generate a more realistic output. Let's see what we get. If you notice, we got exactly what we wanted. Red t-shirt, blue jeans, red sneakers, black jacket, subway, low light, green and blue walls. And it's also crowded, so you can also see some additional people in the background. So we've created a very realistic image of this character that we've just created. Let's see what else we can do with it. So this is another set of output with a more detailed prompt. You can actually pause the video and read through the prompt, and you will find that pretty much everything that's been mentioned in the prompt has been covered. And overall, the image looks quite photoreal, and the overall body structure and character is pretty much what we had when we were creating the initial library to train the model. Now, another thing that we can do is we can instruct changes to one of the already generated images. For example, this is a generation that I did right before this video, and I'm going to instruct here that we need to change the color of the t-shirt from white to gray. Let's see what happens. So I had also instructed to add a red purse in her hand, and as you can see, the color of the t-shirt is now gray, and there is indeed a red purse in her hand. So one more interesting thing that you can do is if you change the model from Soul to Nano-Banana, which is Google's latest image generation model, and you download one of the existing generated images and load it within the Nano-Banana prompt and tell the generator to create multiple poses of the same person, then you can literally have a very, very high level of consistency both in the character as well as the background and generate multiple poses. So that's how you go about creating a consistent and realistic character and keep generating images that are completely photorealistic. Here's a recap of the tech stack that we used. We used Flux Playground to create the face. Then we used Flux Playground again, specifically the context model, and along with that, the Pixlr face swap to generate the full body images of the person with the face that we generated. And then we went over to Higgsfield AI and used the soul and the Nano-Banana feature to create multiple shots of the same person. Now, during these generations, we had also selected few of the preset styles that Higgsfield provides. Now, I didn't talk about it earlier, but these are very helpful for refining the kind of output that you're looking for. Feel free to try these out at your end and experiment with different styles and different kind of outputs. That's it for today's video. If you found it helpful, drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe for more videos. And please turn on the notifications so you're the first one to know when we post new content. I'll see you in the next one.